Hello and welcome to Chinwag. I'm Kim from Pooches Galore.
And I'm Carla at Completely K9.
And this week, much to my stress levels, we're talking about life as a dog trainer. So we're just going to talk about like what our week looks like, what we do, maybe a little peek behind the curtain as to what we do when we're not actually teaching people.
Yeah, and the reason that we're doing this is because I've actually had a social life this week. So I wanted to actually show people that I don't just work.
Carla was like, I've done stuff other than work, so let's talk about it. And I was like, I've only worked. So it's a good balance.
It's a very good balance, definitely.
So
Right.
how's your week been?
So, right. I'm tired. I'm very
Oh
tired
God.
because I actually did so much stuff. I was basically talking from midday Friday to yesterday afternoon, and that's a lot
Awesome.
for me. I need this like I'm a hermit. I like to go away into my little shell and then like put the phone in the drawer and then not talk to anyone for a little while so that I can just
Okay.
reboot. Very introverted thing. But yeah, I went out. I was out in town on Friday evening. Granted, I was home by 11:30
That's
because
all.
I was
That's fair.
working on Saturday. Yeah, working on
Yeah.
Saturday morning, but it was really nice. And I think I don't know if other people that are listening, we've got a lot of self-employed clients between us that probably have the same thing where if you go out and then you have work the next day, you have like a anxiety pang or guilt pang because you want to be like really good at what you do. You are your reputation. You're accountable for yourself and yourself only. So if you do go and like for me anyway, talk about myself, if you do go and do something social and then you have to do a work thing, it's really hard for you to completely relax because you're worried that like you're not going to be your proper self or your full potential for when you do your job. Maybe as an employed person you don't quite feel that as much because it's
No.
not quite, it doesn't mean
No.
as much to you.
When I was employed, there was many a hungover work day.
Yeah. So yeah, I found that a little tricky. It was quite hard to fully relax, but yeah, I'm going to make a conscious effort to not always put work first because I do. My work is like the middle of my life. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't feel guilty if I go out and socialize and then work
No,
the
that's
next day. But I wouldn't be hungover for work.
oh no. Yeah,
So,
I had
but
2 beers, so
yeah, but I don't know. I think I'm quite good at switching off and being away
yeah,
from work.
yeah.
But I also, because I have like quite a hectic life, I
Hmm.
think my brain just is very good at like compartmentalizing stuff. So it's like, right, you're at work,
Mm.
and then I can not think about any of my other stuff as well. So
Yeah, and also as well because I guess because you have a family unit, like you have a child, and your child is always going to be your priority. And because I,
have you met me?
well, ultimately, your life has to sort of
Yeah,
revolve around them a
joking.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas I don't, because I don't have that. I have like Charlie, family members, where I do prioritize them as much as I can. But ultimately, the only thing that I am responsible for is my business. So
yeah,
I guess I plummet a lot of my time into that, and then I sometimes forget that I'm mid 30s now. It's kind of time to take some of that time back.
yeah. I think as well because I worked, I didn't really have any maternity. I think I took 4 weeks maternity where I didn't work.
Yeah,
We moved house in that time.
yeah.
I went back to work in the September. She was born at the end of July, so maybe a little bit over 4 weeks. But I did have staff at the time, so it wasn't
Mm.
like I remember her being 2 days old doing payroll, so like
You got
wasn't
to do what you got to
it
do.
wasn't quite like the relaxing maternity a lot of people have. I think because
Mm.
I've never taken a break from work, and Alice has always fitted in to my work. And when I decided to go back teaching, I started with classes, and my dad would do childcare because my husband worked away all the time. So it was always just me and Alice. So from like Monday to Friday, I would work all day on a Saturday, and then I gradually increased my hours during the week. I was just very good at like being right, it's Saturday, I'm going to work, and then not having to think about anything else that day because I would do 12 hours of back-to-back appointments. And
Mm.
then on the Sunday, I was mum again, and I didn't
Yeah.
think about work. And so because it's always been like jigsaw pieces in my life, I am quite good at being like, right, I'm doing this now. And
Mm.
Alice now, because she's 10 and for the last few years will pick me up if I'm working and we're supposed to be doing stuff together. So I do
Good.
really try to. I will say I have to go and do some work. Like in the
Mm.
school holidays, it's really like that's a proper juggle. I will say, right, I'm just gonna go to work for an hour, like do what you want. I'll be back in an hour and I'll just go upstairs in my office, smash out an hour's
Mm.
work and then go back.
Yeah, that's good. That's like goals. The goals is to be
Yeah,
able to like completely separate it And I'm very, I'm quite impulsive. So if it's a really nice day, I will sack off admin to go out and do something, even if admin was sort of programmed in for that time. I find it quite hard to sit down when I've got such a beautiful day. I'm so outdoors as well. This is another part of it where I struggle with. I was talking to a client yesterday about behavior work. I struggle with it because it's very much on the computer. It's very much like admin based and that sort of thing. And I really struggle with it because all I want to do is be training outside or just be doing something outside. So like sometimes I think the self-discipline definitely lacks in my life.
Yeah, I think because again, going back, Alice was 2 and I went back and did my master's and worked as well. And I'm not like trying to be like, oh, look at all the stuff I can do. But because that was the only time I could really do stuff, I just got really good at being, but I work outside. I have a whole setup where I have an outdoor plug so I can work outside. I have a massive umbrella so I can sit. So on a day when it's warm enough, I will be sat, I won't ever sit in my office, especially like today. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining and I've got my blind shut because it's blinding. I can't actually see anything. So I will adapt things to make it work. But I've always had to, well, not always, but for the last 10 years, I've had to be super disciplined with what I do and when to fit everything in. Otherwise, it would just spiral out of control.
Yeah, well, Carla's going to come and have a mentoring session with Kim on how to be more self-disciplined and structured with her days.
I think I do use a reward system not for myself, not like a star chart, but there will be, like, I have 4 behavior reports to write and they really need to be done today and tomorrow. And that's a significant number of hours at my computer. So after I've done every single one, there will be a treat of some description, whether I'll get to walk for a coffee or
get an ice cream.
Something like that. But there'll be like a little something, and then that will power me on. I'm also better if I've got no time. If I've only got an hour to do something, it will take that hour. If I have longer to do it, then that 1 hour task will take 5 hours. So
procrastination is my main middle name.
Yeah, totally. And actually I'm much better, like behavior reports, I often sit in a coffee shop and do them. So there's nothing around me. I can't think, I'll just put that load of washing on, or I'll just do some weeding in the garden, or I'll just do this. And because I don't want to spend a fortune on coffees, it does focus me a little bit more.
Well, you can't watch Married at First Sight.
No, but I only watch that with John. So very time limited. Like if he's here, we'll watch it. If anyone's watching this season of Married at First Sight Australia, oh my God, it's mental.
I've gone back to season 11. I've gone back one.
Whew.
Yeah.
So you're watching 2 seasons at once?
Well, I started watching the newest one and then I ran out of episodes because it wasn't out yet. So I was like, well, I want to watch something now that can just numb my brain. And then I went back a season and then I'm just going along with it. So I'll come back to, is it season 12? And then I think so. And then I'll finish watching it.
I love it. I have always said it's we started watching it. Oh no, did we start watching it we started watching it in lockdown. As like, because in lockdown, I was nearly at the point of a nervous breakdown, as I'm sure many people were. And it was like that complete mind-numbing TV that I could just sit and I didn't escape. Yeah, and I didn't have to remember anything. It wasn't a complicated storyline. Like, they get married at first sight, they don't like each other, and then they have to try and make themselves like each other, and then they don't stay together. That's essentially the storyline of every season. And I could just sit and just let it wash over me without having to use any brain power. And so I know I've stuck with it.
Because I learn stuff. I'm learning stuff from it. Like, I don't have a relationship, but I feel like I'd be really good at marriage from learning about this. So.
I've been married for a long time, and I have to say, I don't understand how people make it so hard on this show.
Well, I guess they didn't know each other before they got married, so that is an element of it being hard.
No, but you don't know anyone before you start seeing them, really.
That's true.
Like most of the time. It's if anyone watches it, it's the photo ranking task that gets me every time. So if you don't watch it, the new partners get a photo of every single person of the opposite sex in their experiment, and they have to rank them in terms of how attracted to them they are. It's a really simple exercise. You can rank all of the other, for me, men in the experiment in any order you like, but your husband is number 1.
Yeah.
regardless.
It's an unlike you don't. It's unspoken. You just don't do anything else other than that.
You don't have to think about this. This is really simple. You can do what you like with the others. Generally, if they've got dark, if your new husband's got dark hair, maybe think about putting the dark haired ones like higher up, but do what you want with the others. But your partner, regardless of what you actually think of them, goes to number one.
Yeah.
Not number four, like some idiot.
Honesty is the best policy. It's not.
No,
it's not. Really not.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, I was going. This is so simple. This is not complicated.
I think I cried last night watching the episodes I was watching. No, just like happy tears. You know, it all breaks down their walls, and I'm like, oh my God, it breaks down
so Carla and I do definitely watch Married at First Sight for different reasons. I'm there for the arguments and the falling out and the red flags. I'm there for the
prosperity and hope that relationships can work out. She's there for the entertainment.
We come from very different places. I watch Bake Off because I want to see the failures. I'm not there for people who can make a cake. Not at all. I can make a cake. I don't want to see that. I want to see them sliding apart, collapsing. That's what I'm there for.
You're just watching TV for pure carnage.
100%. 100%.
To make your life feel better.
Yeah. Bake Off the professionals, even better. They're professionals. I'm waiting for it to collapse.
Yeah.
I want them to walk and trip and drop it. That's what I'm there for. I'm not there to see a beautiful, Easter egg at the end of it. No, not at all.
I'm not inviting you to any important events because I'm worried that you're going to just be sitting there waiting for me to fall over or
if a bride fell down the aisle.
You'd be going,
let me get my phone out. Can you do that again?
Him, you cruel.
No, bad, aren't I? But it's so true.
Bad.
Yeah, I'm not there for them falling in love. Sorry.
No. But I really didn't want to like it. It's like, look, I don't watch Love Island. I don't watch anything like that. But I didn't want to watch this. And then Steph, the other half of Treetops, mentioned about it on one of our group chats that we're on, and I was like, I don't want to watch it, and then it was like ping, put it on, and I was like, oh damn, I'm hooked. That's it.
Yeah, it's you have to get past if you've ever tried to watch it and you get bored by the weddings are really boring, just get past
fast
those.
Forward.
Yeah. No one likes the weddings. Channel 4, if you're listening, make those episodes short, to do all the weddings in one episode. Let's get them over and done with. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I just want to see dinner parties and couch sessions.
Yeah, that's so you are there for the carnage then.
Yeah, but I also want to see the betterness. Like you do see betterness.
Better.
Better. Is it a word? I don't know. Probably not. It is.
I don't think so. But I do think that when you have when you're self-employed, or maybe when you're not and you've just got a stressful life, having something like that you can put on and just zone out to, whether it's watching reruns of Friends or Grey's Anatomy is mine, that you can just have on in the background and just not have to think, having that kind of thing. I crochet as well, like that's well known, and that is because it's mind-numbingly repetitive, and I can just do it without thinking, and it is my switch off time.
My main one, so I don't actually watch TV much at all. The only thing I watch is maths, if it's like every 3 days.
Really bad, isn't it? Don't watch anything on TV. I watch this absolute trash.
But
exactly.
I don't find it relaxing. No. I don't find TV relaxing. It doesn't fulfill me, and it doesn't make me feel good. So I know, everyone in my school knows that I struggle this time of year. This in between I find really hard mentally, because it's like I live for summer. I'm now working back outside predominantly, even in the evenings, and it's just like I'm like just waiting for spring to come in, and it just riles me a bit that the weather keeps going back and forwards. But like the one thing that really helps me to switch off is gardening. So now I have my own garden. Like every opportunity, if I'm not feeling great, or if I feel like I'm drowning in work or whatever, I just go out there and I get my fingers dirty. Like I just have to, plant something. I have to do something. I have to be in the garden. And what I do is I'll put an audiobook on. Yeah. And I've been listening to some really good ones. So I usually only listen to information audiobooks. And then recently there's been books that are kind of really well written, and I'll listen to those while I'm gardening. And that for me, leaving the phone inside is so nice, just to switch off and do something where it's not like there's a purpose to it. I can see it, it's fulfilling. I might get to be on my own. I don't have to talk to anybody. And then I come back in and I just feel like I've done something really good. I've earthed. Do you know what I mean? It's like a reset almost.
Yeah, I think that it's good to have your thing. And sometimes it's hard, because if you don't have the time in the day, if you're confined to working, or you have a busy young children or something, it is hard to find that time to be like, right, I just need to do my own thing. My thing is exercise, as everyone knows. Mine is going for a run with people. I love running with people, and I love running on my own. And I'm struggling at the minute because my left leg is not working appropriately anymore.
It's frustrating.
It's just given up. And the number of Google searches I've done for sciatica cures is getting a little bit ridiculous now. And then I struggle because the one thing that I want to do is now the hardest thing for me to do, and it's fun.
Very frustrating, isn't it? Yeah.
John
but I think go on.
John did a 50k run yesterday.
Oh, how'd it go?
5 hours.
Wow, that is really good.
Wow. Yeah. And is fine today. It's quite annoying.
Which one was it?
This Titus Grim Up North run.
I didn't know that one.
No, Grim Up North's like a little running organization up here, and they just do local. They're all like along a towpath or something, so they tend to be out and back, and because of that they do different distances. They do 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, half marathons, 20 miles, marathon, and then a 50k, but it's like 25k out and 25k back for the ultra. But obviously if you're just doing 5k, you do 2.5k out, 2.5k back. So it's easy. I think it's quite easy for them to organize because they're not doing a big loop. They're just finding a start point, and then where you can go 25 kilometers away and then you run back. So
they just got a sign saying 5k, stop here,
exactly.
Go back,
exactly. Little Marshall. So I've done a half marathon with them before, and you just run to that person and they're like, back, like thank you. So it's quite good. But the medals are epic. They're huge. They're like, I can't show you, it's a podcast, but they're a good like 3-inch square medal. They're like hefty,
beefy.
If you're into a medal, they're a really good one. And they do vegan hot dogs at the end.
Woo!
On a barbecue.
That's so worth it.
And also because I was like, oh, I heard you've got vegan hot dogs. Like not hot dogs, they're like proper sausages. They're not like hot dogs out of a can. And he was like, he's like, do you want a few? And I was like, yeah. And everyone else is there with just that one. I was like, haha.
I want 3, please.
So I was, but they're quite good. But he's got some long runs coming up, so he needs to get his miles in.
When's his next 100 miler?
So his next 100 is the Thames Path, and it is the 4th of May, 3rd of May.
Not long then,
It's a week before Leeds Marathon.
Oh, it's so flat and it's so repetitive. Like, surely.
No, because it's not at all, because it's running from Richmond in London to Oxford, so you're not you're out in the countryside through like what's the place, Henley Regatta type area and stuff.
I thought it was literally like it would just follow the Thames down like close to it the whole way.
Pretty much does
relatively.
But it does change because you've got like the London Richmondy bit and your countryside bits and stuff. I really think if you're running 100 miles, you're not that bothered about. So it's just that my brain can't compute how far that is. That's crazy, isn't it? Good for him. If I drove to your house, it's about it's more than 100 miles, but it's like
about 150.
So it's even that I'm like, all right, okay, need my snacks, my Diet Coke, I need a coffee,
three coffees. I was gonna say, oh my goodness.
So he's got that. So our house is very busy at the minute because I've got marathon training even though I can't run. Alice's life is super busy because she's got all her SATs and everything, so she's got mock SATs this week, and then John's got his 100 miler. Work's really busy.
It's all go, isn't it?
It is all go. But I like it. I like when work's busy. I'd rather be too busy with work always, because as a self-employed person, and I'm sure no matter what you do, if you're self-employed, when you're quiet, the fear kicks in of it's all going to crumble around you. And as I've mentioned a lot, I'm now unemployable.
Same. A lot of us are.
I don't quite know what I would do if the empire crumbled around my feet. No. But every time I have like a quiet, for me it only has to be quiet for 3 days, and I'm like, oh my god, where are all the inquiries? And like, okay, and then it always comes back. And I know there are certain times of the year, like we were both saying, we're both really busy with behavior stuff at the minute, which is an odd time because normally it becomes after Easter holidays. So this feels like an early spike in those. January's always busy. New Year's resolutions, and September's always a super busy month, August is generally quite quiet for me, school holidays, but that works because I don't work much in August because of school holidays. And then people come in September. December's always pretty quiet because it's December. No one wants to necessarily do a lot in December. January's really busy. So when but I will get the fear in August.
Yeah.
For the 15th time. Because it'll be quiet. Yeah. I need it to be quiet. And I know it's always quiet, but I will still get the fear.
Yeah. I've tried, like, I mean, you do the same thing. You take off school holidays generally, or around, like, times around it, because you know it's when it's going to be quieter. But like now, I quite like trying to do 1 week where it is quite packed and busy, and then 1 week where it is as quiet as I can make it be. I would rather try and fit them in and then have a week where it's actually quite quiet, and then I sort of spread it out that way, because like I remember we were just talking about having that thing that you need to have your own outlet, and I think that you have to make that a priority as much as you can to be better at what you do, because you can, what book did I read it in? What's the dude from SAS Who Dares Wins? And what's his face?
Oh, yeah.
I know, but I read his book and he did say in there, no, honestly, he did say in there that you can give all of your free time to people, but you're only giving yourself at 50% of you, and people are only getting like 50% of you, or you can make sure you're giving some time to the things that you need as an outlet, and then the time giving them 100%. And I just think that's like way more important for your friends and family and for your clients, that you give you at a better rate in the time that you are giving it to them, rather than trying to spread yourself thinly.
I'm the same. I don't necessarily try and have quiet weeks. It's just the way that my clients tend to fall is that like this week I've got less clients booked in, but I have a lot of other stuff that needs to be done. I have I've now taken a leaf out of your book and invested in a whiteboard.
Have you?
Yes. I was like, that's a good
big
idea.
One.
It's not massive, it's this big.
Okay, yeah.
But this list here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 podcasts that have been recorded and are not edited. So that is on my list this week. So that I can get Happy Dog session, like podcast episodes, all up and sorted. So they're all listed on there. So now it's like staring at me from the side of my desk. And they've got red on them if they haven't been done. There's only one that doesn't have red on it. Oh no.
I like that though. It was like just guilt tripping yourself. Deep red pen.
Because I mean, I do have a to-do list. I'm a daily to-do list person. I have a list of everything that needs to be done on that day, every single day. And that is literally the only way I can get through stuff. And everything goes on my to-do list. If I've got a run that I need to do, a weight session, like today I do yoga, that's on my to-do list, everything. So that because then it helps me to organize my day as well, instead of packing it out with other stuff and then be like, oh God, I need to get a run in. Like it goes on my to-do list. I get the satisfaction of crossing everything off.
Yeah, I have to say, ticking off or crossing off a to-do list is so satisfying. And I went through a phase of having loads of whiteboards, and then I had one by the side of my bed in the morning, because I used to struggle to get up. Like obviously I work evenings, which means sometimes I struggle with mornings, because I don't have that period of rest time almost after work. So it's almost like I kind of need to catch up with it when I get up in the morning. So what I used to do is I used to have a little whiteboard that's like, it's not very big, a small one. And I would, the night before, I would make a time by time thing of what I need to do, so that when I wake up and turn my phone alarm off, I see the board and I'm like, get up, you've got all these things to do. Rather than, oh God, I'm struggling, like I just need another half an hour.
I think
I don't do that so much now, but
no, but I also think that you have to, it's finding a system that works for you. I think, it passed with when Alice was much littler and needed more of me. I had to be like, I would get up at 5, I would work 5 till 7, then Alice would get up, and then I'd sort her out until 9, and then I'd go and see clients, and then I would teach in an evening, and like it was a lot, but it was the only way to do what I wanted to do. It wasn't I had to do these things. I did have to work, but I could have structured my work differently. I could have put Alice into childcare. I could have done a lot of different things, but I was like, actually, this works for me, and I'm quite happy to live my life like this. When I did my master's, I used to study. She went to bed at 6, and I used to study 6 till 11 at night every single night, and that was all the study time I had. And so people would come around and be like, "Oh, Alice is really good. She goes to bed and she doesn't get up." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have time for her to do that." That doesn't work for me. And my office was next to her bedroom, and I would just sit. But I was very disciplined with it because I wanted to do it. And actually, it was the easiest time for me to do it. It meant that when I'd finished my master's, she would almost pretty much straight away went to school. And then I was on to the next, rather than starting my master's then. And then, but yeah, like and I think that now I'm much more relaxed. I will get up and work early because I like to get stuff done, but I'm a lot more relaxed now. But having those disciplined times has definitely helped me now.
Yeah.
But I look back at some points and I think, what was I doing? Like we built a house extension when Alice was 1. Not sure that was the best time.
Well, you did it. You just did
it.
John
will tell you that
do
it was
what
fine,
you can.
But John literally lived in London for those weeks. It was just me and a 1-year-old.
Oh my Lord.
Growing up at IKEA. I'm going to IKEA again today.
IKEA is well amusing though. Like I love spending time there.
Yeah. Well, it was better than being in our house, which didn't have like walls, outside walls. But I think a lot of it is you fill the time you have as well, don't you? So if like this week I'm quite quiet with appointments, so I have a lot more kind of empty space in my diary, which will mean my activities like writing reports will take me longer than if I had to do them last week where I had less free time. They would have taken me. I'm very good at filling the time I have.
Yeah, you are.
By not being as efficient as I could be.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm constantly in a battle of stop over busying myself, like spend some time actually doing nothing, or have white space in your diary where there's nothing planned. Like I used to get really good at that. I used to be very, very good at it. And I think for me personally, I think we're opposite in that sense. I think being quite busy for you is like the best option for your like mental health and how you live your life. Whereas for me, like I have to stop and I have to have silence and I have to just be and have no expectations and no responsibility and no where to be and nothing to do. And I need regular periods of that to reset. That's
I think
how I
for me
work best.
It's less about I need to be busy. It's the fact that I don't have any options with it. I don't have the option to be like, oh, I'll just do nothing, because I always have so much to do.
Yeah, but you did say you like being busy.
I do like being busy. I do like being busy, but like equally, I really like to sit down and read my book.
Yeah.
Like that is my complete downtime. And like yesterday afternoon, so John was away Saturday afternoon, stayed away Saturday night, was running yesterday. And so it was just me and Al, which is fine. She's like the easiest child in the world, but she does need driving places and stuff. And then it got to about 4:30 yesterday, and I was like, does anybody need anything from me? And everyone was like, no. I was like, I'm going to sit and read my book, please do not disturb me.
Yeah.
Like I am done. I'm just checking out for half an hour. I've got a new book and it's good and I like it, and I want to know the next murdered people that are going to turn up in a glass box in London. Where are they going to turn up?
You are some special sort of reader, aren't you? Seriously, the worst, like disgusting, horrible, gory, scary novels, and you're 100%. Into it.
I was like, oh yeah, it's called The Art of Death. I was like, that looks like a book for me. I judge a book by its cover. I judge a book by its title. I very rarely read the synopsis. I just need to know if I've read it before. I'll dive straight in. So I was very excited last week because I got an email from Waterstones to say, you've got £10 like waiting to be spent, and if you don't spend it soon, you're going to lose it. And I was like, oops, bear with. Immediately buy a book. But I was very much like, right, does anyone need anything? Because what I hate the most is sitting down thinking, oh, I don't have anything to do, and then somebody goes, oh, can we just? Oh, no, no, we
Just
can't
relax.
just sat down. So yeah. But I am the same as you with TV. Like I went through a phase where I would scroll through Netflix for half an hour, find something I was not interested in, put it on, scroll through my phone while it was on, and go to bed. And
Yeah.
so not this New Year's, the year before, I think, I made a New Year's resolution. I don't really make New Year's resolutions, but that's essentially what it was, where I can watch anything on TV, anything. Like Married at First Sight, top tier for me. So it doesn't have to be highbrow. It doesn't have to be, it just has to be something I want to watch. And if there's nothing, I just read my book.
Yeah.
And that has meant that I probably watch 5 hours of TV a week.
Yeah.
So, unless there's sport on. I mean, if there's a 5-day test match on, TV goes on at 10:30, goes off at
it doesn't
7.
go off. Yeah.
And also it's on mute. The TV's on mute, and I listen to test match special on the radio. And just have the pictures on. Yeah, I don't like Sky commentary. So I mute the TV. I just like to watch the replays, but that's on all of the time. And I will spend time, because they're out of sync, I will sync them up as well. Yeah.
That is dedication to sport.
Yeah. But 5-day test match, I'm in for the long haul. So to the point where like I will book appointments around. And so if I know there's a test match on, I'll work like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday intensely, and then not really work the rest of the week.
Yeah, but that's like
going
back to it, we need to have a life. Like people depend on you more than they depend on me in work as well, because behavior usually is more urgent than what a lot of the things I do. So like you still need to be able to have your time where you're having a life. You have a life, and you still have to do stuff that you want to do, you work around it like other people do.
And also with behavior, there is so much behind the scenes stuff that you do. Like I've just taken a case on at the moment, and the dog just will not eat. I mean, I've never seen a case where the dog will not eat to this extent. And so I'm doing hours of CPD on different ways that we can look at to work out why the dog won't eat. I'm assuming it's due to anxiety, but like this is top tier kind of level of not eating. So I'll spend this week in particular, I'll probably do 8-9 hours of work just on that one issue before we even deal with the behavior that we need to work on. So, and I wouldn't do that necessarily with a training client, mainly because my background knowledge of that is, it's not that there's a formula to stuff, but if you're teaching a recall, you might have 30 different exercises that you can do for that, but they're going to work. You're probably not going to have to think that far outside of the box to find a solution for that. Whereas with behavior, there's a lot more complexities behind each individual dog, and you might have dealt with resource guarding before, but that dog's going to throw other stuff alongside that, so it's just a little bit different in as much as. And then I also have reports that I write, vet reports that I write, insurance companies to deal with. Every week my clients send me a catch-up that I go through, and that's what I was doing this morning. I analyze what they've been doing all week and make sure they're all right, send any feedback. They might have come across a little stumble and we need to add an extra exercise in, so I need to send them those notes. So with behavior, and this is why it's always so much more expensive than training, there is a lot more that we do that sits behind it compared to training, where you might send out training notes and stuff, but if you're teaching a recall or a leave it or a loose lead walking or or puppy training, that it's a bit more that we've got all the background knowledge that we're ever going to need, and we'll do CPD along the way, but it's rarely that we're searching for CPD for that particular dog.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the
definitely. And I think people don't always see how much goes on behind the scenes either. Like even writing up my assessments are not as comprehensive at all. They won't be, but it still takes me a while to write them up because I'm trying to factor in as many areas as possible and make sure that I've got a whole picture of that dog. And even just to write it up, like it takes me a week sometimes to do it because I'm trying to fit it in around other things, and I don't want to just sit and do it when I've got half a brain. so I don't miss anything out. So I'd rather wait until I've got energy. So I'll be doing my next one after this because I'm awake and I'm thinking, my brain's active, and I will do a type up. But yeah, it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of you mentally, this. And there's a lot of like, you have to have a lot of compassion, and even giving lots of compassion is exhausting as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need those breaks.
You do. And I think that it is interesting for people to understand that we do, like I write lesson plans for my sessions, but they're only based on the knowledge that I have. So I'm working with this beautiful kind of lurcher dog called Hattie. She is gorgeous, and she's struggling a bit on the lead around other dogs, and she's big and she's powerful, and she's very keen to see every other dog, but it comes out as very frustrated behavior, and so it looks very aggressive. And I had a whole lesson plan for our second session, based on what we'd done in the first one, the kind of what I thought they might have been struggling with. So I had my stuffed dog in the car, and we were going to do some work around timing and all of this, and I was like, right, and in my head I was like, we're going to do this, we'll go for a walk, we'll see this, we'll do that. Brilliant. Turned up and they were like, we've turned a massive corner, she can walk past all these dogs. And I was like, oh right, okay, amazing. But my lesson plan was way too basic for what they needed. I was like, let's just go for a walk then and see what we can. And to the point now where we're looking, getting her off the lead, doing recall with her and all of that. I was like, brilliant, next time we'll start doing some recall. So I'll have a recall plan for Hattie in our next session, but that will get ditched immediately if actually some of the behaviors crept back in around other dogs. So I do have lesson plans for all my sessions, but a lot of the time we're reacting to what clients are telling us, the questions that they have, what training that they've been doing and how successful it's been, how the dog's responded to it. So I don't have like we're going to do 5 minutes of this, 10 minutes of that, 15 minutes of this. It's very much like, I'm going to work on recall, we'll reduce distance, we'll get dogs being a bit more distracting, and maybe even do some greetings. That's what I'd like to do. And then you turn up and you're like, oh, okay, cool, let's not do any of that, we're going to do something completely different. So
or like the other way, like if you turn up and the dog's really stressed. Or the dog. Some people turn up and like the dog's got a bad belly and it can't eat anything, and you're like, okay, so
cool. Brilliant.
we'll work with this. And it's like I find that I end up doing opportunistic training more than I do anything.
And I also, because I don't what was I going to say? That's completely gone. Oh, I don't do training in like secure fields. I don't have stooge dogs. I do all of my training in the real world. For a few reasons. One, I think it's a lot easier to create space and manage, and you get a lot of different dogs. You also are taking an owner on a walk that they're likely to do and dealing with stuff that they're likely to see, environments they've got to work with. So if we want the dog to disengage from the environment, we're using a lamppost or a grassy bit or a gnarly tree or something that we've got there and then. In a secure field, often it is just grass, maybe with some toys and stuff or some agility kit in, but you're not having agility kit on your walk, so not overly useful. And we're helping clients deal with stuff as it comes up in the moment. How to create distance in this space, how to reward for this behavior, and I just think that we're helping clients to succeed a little bit more, because we're like, right, now you can go on your walk, you've seen what it looks like. Which is
definitely. That's the final point of that, is like the big one for me, is that sometimes if I go out with them, like we can, so sometimes if they come down to the field that I'm in and we do a bit of reactivity training, like just for the foundations to get the confidence up, fine. But then when we go out and we encounter things and then I react immediately, they go, that's how I need. Right, okay. Like they can sort of see it as a live demo, and they can feed off of your reactions and see where and when, because it's all right telling someone how to do it, but a lot of people panic when they get into a situation. Whereas if you've done it for so much, like obviously as a trainer behaviorist, you do it all the time. So you have to just think on your feet and look. You're constantly scanning your environment to go, okay, if we go there, this is an exit. If we go there, there's a tree there with some holes in, da, 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 da.
And that's one of the reasons that, because I have clients that come from quite far to work with me, which I'm amazed, like find amazing. But I prefer people coming to Harrogate to work with me, because I can be like, right, your dog needs to work in this environment, and this environment is on the stray, or is in this place, whatever. Whereas when I go to, even if I just go to Leeds, which is only like 15 miles away, I have to really think about the environment so much more because I don't know it, and I'm trying to work a lot more out in my head. Whereas if we're in Harrogate, like you say, I know where the exits, I know where dogs are going to come from, I know how people act in that environment. Like I have a really good library of knowledge, which means a lot of my thinking is already done. I'm doing that automatically.
Yeah, and we like recently, more so because my van had to go into the garage and I couldn't go anywhere for a few days. I got lots of my clients coming to the village that I live in, and I know it like the back of my hand. I know every alleyway, I know every like green space, I know where most of the dogs go off lead and where they don't. And it was really good because obviously Treetops is based on, you know, we're using like ledges of decompression and areas where your dog can just switch off and you move between them, and like where I live has the perfect setup for that. So I'm like, this is what you're looking for when you go out for a walk. I want you to go walk your neighborhood, and I want you to look for spaces that look like this, because this is where your dog is going to succeed. So rather than just go and do their walk with them, which I do have to do, and I can pick up on spaces where that would be good. Like actually for me to have somewhere that is the perfect example, they go, oh, right, okay. I'll go home and I'll find it. And a lot of them do. Like it's quite successful then.
Absolutely. I think I think we don't realise how much we do in our heads. When we're with a client, like I could be stood somewhere and I can tell you where every single dog is on that field because I'm automatically scanning. I'm like, there's a dog at 3 o'clock, 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock, right? And that the spaniel's playing fetch, that's going to cause us more problems, so we need to move over this way. Like we're constantly doing this and communicating to the client, but you're trying not to tell the client everything because it's overwhelming. And there's so many facets to being a trainer, behaviorist, whatever, where you're in the real world working with someone that you probably don't even have you ever done that exercise where you're when you're driving and you have to talk about everything that you see?
No.
You should try it. It's so hard because your brain is processing stuff so quickly and making decisions about what's going on in the environment all of the time. But it's that as a driver, you do all of these things without realizing. And then when you have to say, oh, there's a child playing football there, or there's somebody walking down, or there's a traffic light coming up, or like you're doing all of these things without thinking a lot of the time.
I think that's a really good exercise to do for people to have a think of that. And it's not something I've done specifically for driving, but I think that would be really good.
I think it might be on a speed awareness course that I might have done in the past.
That makes sense now.
Maybe that's where I did it.
It wasn't on mine. But I do something similar regularly for my clients who have really like anxious or environmentally stimulated dogs, especially if they come to agility and they have one-to-ones because they're so stimulated. And what I'll do is I'll like, if the dog struggles with one thing, I'll go, what can they hear? What can they see? What can they smell? What time of day is it? Like, what is happening around them that you think might be contributing to what they're doing? And then suddenly they're like, oh yeah, this happened earlier, and then they can hear this, and then there's actually like road noise over there, and you know, we can smell the silage from across here. Like there's a lot of things coming in. The wind is like, it's a lot windier today, so they're getting smells from the farm over there. And I'm like, yeah, like this is what is going on in your dog's world. These are the things that don't affect you really. You can still concentrate on what you're doing, but your dog is really sensitive to the environment compared to what you are. And it's like sometimes it's helpful to do that. So I think people could definitely try that. And or
just go for a little walk by yourself and just be really aware of everything, what the dog's doing, what people are doing, what the environment looks like, what it feels like under your feet. Obviously we're wearing shoes mostly, but you know, is it tarmacy, is it hot, is it cold, all of those things. And just think about it from your dog's point of view. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to do it when you haven't got your dog with you, especially if they struggle with the world. So, and just start to think a little bit differently, and then you'll realize what's going on in our brain all of the time. And
it's, you can do the same thing in your house, like that's a huge thing as well. If your dog just like is not able to settle, this is one of the things I do, is I'll go just sit in that room, just sit in the room that you're asking them to settle in, and just like, what is going on around that space? Like, is your Wi-Fi router next to where they're sleeping? Is the TV still, you know, the plug still on? Is there a humming? Is there, you know, is it too hot? Are they near a radiator? Like, what's going on?
Do you have a plug-in air freshener?
Do you have a plug-in air freshener? Yeah. Like, is it hot? Is it cold? Is it near a window? Like, is there
are people mowing
outside?
Their lawns outside? That's what's happening outside my house right now. It's that kind of day where constant mowing. Not me.
No.
Oh no, my next session's with a puppy, and I know we're doing recall training, which is like,
woo!
We were supposed to do it in our last. This is a perfect example. I was supposed to do it in our last session, and the puppy would not stay awake at all. Like, I would show something in the house, and the puppy would do it, and then they would just like slide into that laying down sleep position, and then I'd be like, come on, do some more, and they'd be like, and I was like, and then it got really bitey because tired puppies bite. And I was like, right, okay, we're gonna call it now, because I've pushed the puppy as far as I possibly can, but when we're gonna, so I'm gonna test out my new 𝙒𝙚𝙡𝙘𝙧𝙤𝙬 ultra lightweight training line as well for this time. Which is very exciting.
I saw your videos and your photos are very colourful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And the ultra light, I'm going to try it on Stan, because obviously I don't need to he doesn't need a long line on, but I can test to see how strong it is. Not that I would ever recommend it for a massive dog, but I reckon it's probably strong enough. So
that's exciting. Can't wait to see all your videos of them.
I love the way you think I'm going to do videos. You're always optimistic.
You are so going to do video. You need to do them for 𝙒𝙚𝙡𝙘𝙧𝙤𝙬, so
I know, Katie, I do. She's like, yes, Kim, you do.
You do.
So,
right, cool.
Well, that was fun and less stressful than I thought it was going to be. So that's
so you can do a whole hour of unstructured. Well done. That was really good.
Right, I will see you next week.
See you next week, love.